Hey, Soul Warriors, this is Jessica Noel. I just wanted to touch in for a moment to talk to you briefly about the importance of our shadows. So, something that came to me earlier today and that we also discussed in the last Gene Keys group is how important the shadows are. So, this is something often that people tend to want to run away from. They want to ignore or even just try to detach themselves from the shadows. And really, what the key is to become aware of them, accept them, embrace them, and love them. That process by itself begins to change the frequency, the vibration of these shadows, which then become your greatest gifts. So, the premises of the Gene Keys, and I feel like the truth of the matter is that in your shadows lie your greatest gifts. It's about accepting, loving, embracing these aspects of yourself. And that by itself is an incredibly high frequency when you're able to sit with those things and do that process. And it can be very instantaneous as well. Just set your intention if that resonates with you to do so. So let me give you an example, and this actually is part of the premise of the Gene Keys. It's from the Gene Keys. So the Gene Keys has spheres as part of your unique profile based on your birth data. And in these spheres, there's a shadow frequency, there's a gift frequency, and there's a city frequency. And the example I'd like to give is the sphere that has turbulence as the shadow, and the gift is compassion. So, with this particular sphere, and I would say with all spheres to some degree or another, you have to actually be in the shadow for some length of time. So, with this sphere, it is actually for a longer length of time. You have to be in this turbulence, going through things, suffering to some extent or another, having a lot of different experiences that are challenges. And while you're doing that, while you're going through, you're in this shadow frequency, there is all of this compassion that's developing under the surface that you don't have access to yet, but it's been developing the whole time. And then at a certain point, there is sort of this opening, and this compassion becomes rooted into you, and then it becomes part of your beingness. But all along, it was developing. And there are also programming partners. There are also other spheres that are very much working together. So your profile they all have a flow and a connection. One of the spheres that is often associated with the turbulence, shadow, and the compassion gift is a discernment, a sphere that has discernment as the gift. And so if you think about it like that, if you have discernment, if you start to move into this gift of discernment, that's naturally going to impact the shadow of turbulence and move you more into compassion, because you're able to discern things. If you're not able to discern things, you're going to keep putting yourself in situations that are challenging and that are difficult because you're not seeing things clearly, right? So this is just like a very brief example of how the Gene Keys can work together and how they work themselves. So my whole point in describing this to you is to let you know that the shadow and this process of moving through these things that are sometimes challenging, they are actually leading you somewhere. They're teaching you something, and they're moving you towards the gift. And so you can move through this very quickly, and understand too that a lot of people aren't going to have turbulence or compassion, so they can move straight into some other gift, or perhaps one of their shadows. It's not really one that you need to be in for very long. I'm simply saying that there's a purpose to these shadow aspects. There's a teaching to these shadow aspects. So certainly move through this process quickly. And you can do that by simply sitting with all aspects of yourself, including all shadow aspects, accepting, embracing once you're aware of them, and loving them. And that will move you very rapidly through it. Like I said, that by itself is an extremely high frequency and will naturally shift you into the higher state of consciousness, or the higher frequency, which is the gift state. So it really is that simple of a process. But please understand that if you have been in a shadow, if you are aware of a shadow right now, there is a purpose to it. So understand, what is this here to teach me? And how can I love this about myself as well? How can I love this aspect? And as you do so, it will transform instantaneously. So that's really all I wanted to share with you today. I hope you guys are all doing fantastic today. Love you so much. And I will look forward to connecting with you the next time. Bye for now.